Imagine a company that sells sheets, towels, and maybe that one kitchen gadget you bought but never used. Now, picture that same company becoming the hottest topic on the stock market, not because it's making record profits, but because a bunch of people on the internet decided to make it famous. Sounds a bit like a movie script, right? Well, that's the real-life story of Bed Bath & Beyond and how it transformed into a legendary meme stock. Typically, stocks that go viral are tied to groundbreaking tech or massive hype, but this was different. This was a story about a beloved but struggling retail giant that the internet turned into a financial roller coaster. To really get what happened, we need to rewind to early 2021. The world was still adjusting to a post-pandemic reality, and many classic retail stores, including Bed Bath & Beyond, were finding it tough to keep up. At the same time, a new generation of investors was emerging. They weren't getting their financial news from stuffy newspapers. They were scrolling through forums like Reddit's Wall Street Bets. These weren't your typical Wall Street suits. They were everyday people, often young, who felt locked out of a system that seemed to favor the rich and powerful. They saw big hedge funds making billions and felt it was time for a change. And then they noticed something interesting. A significant number of these large hedge funds were betting heavily against Bed Bath & Beyond. They were shorting the stock, which is basically a bet that the company's share price will fall. A light bulb went off for the online community. They saw an opportunity. What if they all started buying the stock instead? If enough people bought it, the price would go up, forcing the short sellers to buy back their shares at a loss. This chain reaction is known as a short squeeze, so the plan was hatched. It started with a few posts on Reddit and quickly spread like wildfire across social media. The message was simple and powerful. Buy BBBY. Let's send this stock to the moon. It was a call to arms for the small investor. People who had only a few $100s to spare started opening brokerage accounts and buying shares. It wasn't just about making money. It was about sending a message. And the magic began to happen. As more and more people bought in, the stock price started to climb. The hedge funds that had bet against the company started to panic. They were losing millions, even billions, on paper. To stop the bleeding, they had no choice but to buy back the shares they had borrowed, which only pushed the price even higher. This created a feedback loop, a frenzy of buying. Soon, the mainstream media couldn't ignore it. News channels started covering the story, and financial experts were trying to explain what was going on. TikToks and YouTube videos went viral, teaching complete beginners how to buy stocks and join the movement. Suddenly, Bed Bath & Beyond, a company most people associated with wedding registries, was at the epicenter of a financial revolution driven by memes, hashtags, and collective online action. At its peak, the stock's value exploded, rising by hundreds of percent in just a matter of days. This created some incredible stories. There were tales of people becoming millionaires overnight, of students paying off their loans, and of everyday workers finally catching a break. A simple retail chain had become a powerful symbol, representing the newfound influence of the average investor. Words that were once Wall Street jargon, like short squeeze, options, and diamond hands, became part of everyday online conversation. People who had never thought about investing were suddenly glued to their stock tracking apps. But this wild ride wasn't just a story of success. For every person who made a fortune, there was someone who got caught at the top. The meteoric rise was followed by an equally dramatic crash. The hype couldn't last forever, and when the price collapsed, many investors lost everything they had put in, and sometimes more. Let's look at a couple of real-world examples. Take Sarah, a 25-year-old barista. She had about $500 saved up for an emergency. After seeing the hype all over Reddit and TikTok, she decided to take a chance and bought a few shares. Just a week later, her $500 had turned into $5,000. It was life-changing. She was able to pay off credit card debt that had been weighing her down for years. For her, the risk paid off in a big way. But then there's the story of Mike, a college student. He got swept up in the excitement and felt that FOMO, the fear of missing out. He wanted in on the action so badly that he borrowed money from his parents to invest. He bought in near the peak, convinced the stock would keep climbing. When it crashed, he lost it all. It was a brutal lesson in the dangers of investing based on hype and emotion, and a reminder that for every winner, there can be a loser. The fallout from this rally went far beyond individual investors. It sent shockwaves through Wall Street. Hedge funds that had been untouchable for decades were suddenly vulnerable to a decentralized army of retail traders. The event sparked intense debate among regulators about how to handle this new form of market activity. It raised questions about market manipulation, fairness, and the role of social media in finance. The financial world was forced to acknowledge a new, powerful force. Memes could move markets. The Bed Bath & Beyond saga became both a cautionary tale and a story of empowerment. It showed the incredible potential when a community bands together, but it also highlighted the immense risks of herd mentality and speculative bubbles. It proved that the stock market is not always rational and can be swayed by human emotion, stories, and a shared sense of purpose. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? The Bed Bath & Beyond meme stock rally was never really about the company's financial health or its long-term prospects. It was a cultural moment. It was about a group of underdogs using the tools of the internet to challenge the financial establishment. It was about the incredible thrill and the devastating danger of market hype. And most importantly, it was a clear sign that the world of investing has changed forever. It's no longer a game played exclusively by professionals in corner offices. It can be a community effort, for better or for worse. Whether you were one of the people who rode the wave, one who got caught in the crash, or just someone who watched the whole thing unfold with a bucket of popcorn, it was a moment that revealed just how unpredictable, chaotic, and fascinatingly human the stock market can be. It proved that in today's world, a meme can be just as powerful as a quarterly earnings report. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the events that are shaping our world. See you next time.